So on to part two. Hopefully this is the final part. We'll see how we go. So hope you're sitting comfortably and I shall begin. Okay, so as I was saying, we're on to the Gotham section now. So we're looking at the Batman family of titles. So we have Batman, first of all, with Matt Fraction on writing, Jorge Jimenez on the art, and Tomo Murray on colours. If you've been reading Batman, you know what to expect. It's sleek, it's stylish, it's fun. For me, it gives me echoes of the classic Marshall Rogers run from the 70s. It's got that nice, clean feel to it. And what I like about Matt Fraction's Batman is how it's very Bruce Wayne centric as well. Some writers, especially Chip Zdarsky, they kind of lost Bruce Wayne in the mix. And I think without Bruce Wayne being a focal point, you lose the essence sometimes of Batman. And I really do adore this this version of Batman. It's great. There is an undercurrent going on now. So they've got this new female assassin who's really cool. She like disintegrates into birds to get escape. And of course, you've got the there's a plot thread what's kind of been murmured about in this episode, but not focused on, which is the Minotaur, who's like this new gangland chief who's trying to take control of all the different gangs of Gotham. This is I love this. Very similar to the Absolute Catwoman page, where you've got showing the movements of the Penguin. I love Jimenez's version of the Penguin. This is so much fun. The potential, though they are in denial, romantic interest of the Doctor and Bruce Wayne. This is a great way of just filling in the gaps of the whole of Batman's history with his son, with Damian. It's just great, and of course, can't go wrong. Bullock's one of my favourite supporting characters in the Batman universe, so I'm always happy to see him in there. And it's kind of nice that Jim Gordon's coming more into focus now. Be interested to see how the story escalates between him and Vandal Savage. And it's great because Vandal Savage, I like much more how Matt Fraction's dealing with him than, say, Chip Zdarsky or even Ram V dealt with him. He's in Matt Fraction's version, he feels much more like a kingpin kind of character. And I do really like that. But he's now showing that some cracks have started to show in Vandal Savage's visage. Emphasis on the Savage. You can see when he doesn't get his way, he's not holding it together like he used to. This splash page is just gorgeous. And I'm kind of describing it without trying to give away too much plot. I'm just wanting to save it on the artwork. So there's a really fun, the fight sequences in this are just so fun and kinetic. And I love the use of the old school kind of lettering as well. There's a real vibrancy to everything from the colours to the line work to the story beats as well. And I'm intrigued. And it's not Alfred, but if our boys get a butler back again, I'm all for it. And it's kind of like a tangentially kind of like linked to Alfred. So yeah, I'm all for it. So that's a nice, interesting teaser for next issue. So yeah, great read. It's not fantastic, but it's fun. So I'm going to give this a fun 8.5 out of 10. And then this one, again, divides people. Some people love it, and some people hate it. I love it. I'm really enjoying this. So this is Barbara Gordon Breakout. So she's got herself imprisoned because she wants to find out what's going on. There's some kind of mystery going on, some kind of conspiracy. She wants to get to the root of it. But in the meantime, she's been badly injured, and she's been helped by this other inmate who's kind of like nursing her to health, or is she? And she's given these drugs and it's making her hallucinate badly. In the meantime, we've got a great glimpse of Jim Gordon. Obviously, these are the two people who've got the strongest ties to Barbara Gordon. Jim Gordon, of course, Dick Grayson, Nightwing. It's good. It's a good prison drama. I like Mariko Tamaki. And again, some people, again, she's a writer you either love or you hate. I really think she's very underappreciated. The artwork in this as well by Nahu Pan is really, really stylish. And again, there's a lot of this is just Barbara hallucinating, so you get flashbacks to like the worst case scenarios from her past. And then there's a nice little twist at the end that feels like maybe she's not really looking out for Barbara's best interests. And who's this mysterious character? So yeah, it's good. It's a solid 7.5 out of 10. I'm only giving it 7.5 because I feel like it'll improve with the next issue. And then we have Detective by Tom Taylor and Mikhail Janin. I've been singing their praises, but I'm going to say I do not really... The story's okay, but I don't care for it much. I don't like... It's a trope I really hate in modern comics where they retrofit a character who never existed before. It's clunky. I think it's a very poor story device. It makes no sense because, hey, some of this character appears, which is what we're doing with this character. And they've created this thing where Batman, Green Arrow, and Black Canary were a team with this character. Bullshit. Sorry. But it just smacks of... it's a contrived story device, and I don't like it. So I'm kind of pleased this story's ending soon. I've not connected with this current story arc. I'm happy that Johnny's back in, but I will say he's doing colouring on this one, and it's not to his normal it's not to how he normally does it. It feels very much a rushed colour job. It feels very computerised, whereas before, even though it was computerised, it felt much more painterly. So yeah, all in all, I wasn't that satisfied with this story. So, and it's not really a mystery I'm not invested in because, like I said, the focus on the character, what they've just shoehorned into comic history, who never existed before. So why would I feel any urgency about the character or the mystery surrounding him? Because it's a person I don't know. So I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. But yeah, I'm going to carry on because I think it will improve again once the story's over. And this comic, I didn't have in my pull box. I just glanced at it on the shelves. Thought I've got to get it. It looks so good. So this was a art by first, but the story blew me away as well. It's an Elseworld series, 6 issues. Supergirl Survive. It is by Evan S. Parker and Griffin Sheridan, who wrote the Image comic Kill All Your Darlings, which was like a dark version of C.S. Lewis, and artwork by Rod Reis, who did New Mutants and other stuff. The art is just beautiful. So this flips the script of the origin of Supergirl and Superman. So yeah, Krypton explodes, but instead of it being Superman escaping in the pod, late teenage, is it Kara? I forgot what her name is. A late teenage Supergirl is put in the pod to look after young Jor-El. Kal-El, sorry, that's his dad, isn't it? Yeah, Kal-El, aka Superman. So instead of them coming separate ships and separate times, she escapes at the same time as with the baby Superman, and it's great. It's a really fun science fiction jape with fantastic, beautiful, some of the best art I've seen this year. Honestly, he's really upped his game. I've always appreciated him as an artist, but I've never seen him do such great art. And what I will say as well, it's $4.99, and each issue has 28 story pages. So again, if this was by another company who will just call Marvel for the sake of it, you'd be paying a lot more. So yeah, it ends on a great cliffhanger, but fortunately, issue 2's out already. And again, this comes with highest recommendations for buying. So now they realise that there are now 2 children without a home. Their planet's been destroyed. The lanterns appear, but in this Elseworlds one, each lantern has a different colour. It's not just like a big fleet of green lanterns. But then it suddenly becomes this space western, almost like hints of Firefly. So you don't just get one Lobo, you get the Lobo brothers, and Lobo calls himself the main man, and the rest are like his underlings. It's just great. The dialogue is fantastic. This, for me, is a much more enjoyable version. This could be blasphemy, but I don't care. For me, this is a much more enjoyable version of Supergirl than what we got with the Tom King and Bill Quist Everly one. Artwork in that was amazing, but story-wise, this hit the sweet spot. The dialogue was great. It moved at a great fast pace. Everything you want in a classy, fun superhero slash science fiction read. 10. Yeah, I'm going to give that another 10 out of 10 because it really, really surprised me in the best way. And then we move on to the next of the fake facsimile issues of Swamp Thing, issue 90. So these issue 88 was the issue that was created and never got published, but the ones subsequently are ones that have been done recently to finish off the storyline, but they're using the same colouring techniques and using artists who were big in that era. So you got Tom Mandrake doing the artwork. And if, like me, you enjoyed Tom Veitch's run on Swamp Thing, then you'll enjoy this. If you weren't following it back in the day, I'm not sure if you'll get as much from it as I do. But for me, I'll give it a solid 7.5, 8 out of 10. I don't know, say 7.5 because it is very much a piece of its time. So it hasn't. There is a bit of a clunkiness because of it being being a script from the late 80s, early 90s. But even so, I'm so pleased it's come out, and I like the back matter as well, where they're going through the process of recreating it, and I like how they've got the old adverts in it as well. So yeah, it's a solid 7 out of 10. And then Deadman #2 by the creative team behind Ice Cream Man. Yeah, very wordy McWordy, but the words are good. It's great writing. Unlike Tom King, where it can be just word salad, each word means something. And even though it's very verbose, it reads very easily. And it's a fun team up between Plastic Man, Deadman, and Batman. And it's kind of like a sweet supernatural mystery, and I kind of like that. The main big bad takes a bit of a backseat as Deadman looks into the mystery of who this creature is that's now causing all this havoc. So he meets up with this guy who's got his superpower is that he's got extreme photographic memory, but it drove him into committing acts because he had to read everything that he'd never read, and so he ends up incarcerated. And the story carries on from there. Great wordplay, great art, very, very fun and satisfying. A solid 8 out of 10. And this was a comic. I was going to do a separate video, but I thought, what the fuck? It's bad enough doing a huge video like this, so I can't be bothered. So I bought Batwoman #1, and I stopped it with that issue, saying, no, I'm not buying it again. It made no sense. I sometimes rest comics for a bit, and then I keep checking back month from month. So I gave it a few months, and I got Batwoman 2, 3, and 4. It's still as murky as murky can get, plot-wise, but there's something hypnotic in it, and I can't stop reading it, and I'm enjoying it. And I think I'm enjoying it more now as well with the slight revelation with the latest issue of issue 4 of who the Batwoman is that's been doing all the acts that she's been committing. The artwork by Dani is just gorgeous. She's one of my favourites of the more modern era of artists. And I feel like Greg Rucka's getting somewhere now. It doesn't feel like it's just wandering about aimlessly in the weeds. The plot is actually gaining momentum now. Yeah, and I'm enjoying it. So I'm going to give it a good 8 out of 10. I'm kind of pleased I've come back. Another one I rested for a bit, just for the sake of resting it, because I'm not the biggest Ryan North fan, but he's improved with these 2 issues. He's found the voice of the Flash. So I've got 33 and 34. Artwork by Gavin Goodry is amazing. He's quickly becoming one of my favourite Flash artists. And yeah, it's a fun, light read. This is what I wanted, I guess, from Absolute Flash. So I'm glad I've stopped that, and this has taken its place. This is pure, unfiltered Flash. And this is why I enjoy the Flash so much. And Ryan North is actually writing a good comic here. I just can't get on board with his Fantastic Four one. I know other people like it. I know Geeky Hog likes his Fantastic Four. It just doesn't do it for me, but somehow I like it when he just writes a solo character like this. So I'm going to give this a solid 8 out of 10. And then we move on to our Sword and Sorcery ones. So we've got Conan the Barbarian #31. This wraps up the storyline where he faces off against this assassin who is quite possibly his equal, if not his superior, in fighting. And it's a creepy little fucker, and it's got beautiful artwork by Dougie Braithwaite and art written by, of course, Grim Jim Zub. And yeah, Conan never disappoints. I can't believe at one point I was thinking of stopping this, but I'm so pleased that I didn't. And yeah, it's a great comic. It's a constant 8 out of 10. Then we've got issue 2 of Elric the Sleeping Sorceress. The artwork is beautiful. You get 28 pages, $4.99. It will be collected into a oversized hardcover. It's a European comic, and you can tell with the artwork and the storyline. I really enjoyed it, but I will admit I'm lost because I've not read the other volumes. But that's my fault, not the comic's fault. So I will get the hardcovers eventually, so I can just appreciate it more. But I enjoyed what I could grasp of it for what it was, and the artwork is just beautiful. So I'd give it an 8 out of 10. And like I said, it could even have been a 9 if I understood it a bit more. Then we have Red Coat number 18. I think because Geeky O'Hog wasn't that impressed with this one. I enjoyed it. I thought it was kind of a nice, sweet storyline. And I liked how it addressed how will his wife cope with him being immortal. And I'm just going to pause it for 1 second. I thought I didn't have my microphone switched on, but I did. So that's me being stupid. So yeah, and it's in the form of letters to his wife, and then it finishes off with a letter from his wife to him. Very bittersweet. Well, I was going to say it's very bittersweet, but it's more like sweet bitter. And it's basically cleans the slate for the next part of the adventure. And of course, his nemesis, who said he could give his family the gift of immortality, has now been absconded by the followers of George Washington. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the next issue. The artwork, as always, by Brian Hitch and Andrew Curry is amazing. This, in some ways, I think is my favourite comic of the Unnamed Universe. Geiger is great, but what I like about Redcoat, they've never had a standing artist. And whenever they have a filling artist on Geiger, it never can compare to Gary Frank because he always seems to just be completely different style. So I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. Then we move on to G.I. Joe. This focuses on this newish character who's never been in G.I. Joe before. What's he called? There is a bit at the back. Risk. So he's gone to like this haunted mansion, but of course it's G.I. Joe, so it's grounded a bit more in reality. And it's more like this guy who can create like these spectral kind of creatures to terrorize people. And so there's members of G.I. Joe in there, and there's also members of the bad guys as well. Cobra, that's it, isn't it? I never remember what they're called because I'm not a G.I. Joe fan. I've just read this comic. I enjoy it. I kind of like the arts by Andrew Milana and the writing by Joshua Williamson. Like I said, I've not got any attachment to G.I. Joe, so for me this is enjoyable because I don't care if it's not like the old comics or anything like that because I never read them, have no interest in them. But this I'm enjoying. It's a solid. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. And then we move on to issue 2 of Odin. So the first issue was a real punch in the gut, and it kind of leads on from there. But it's more like the repercussions of what they experienced in the first issue, when they kind of like devolved, and kind of lost their humanity by resources to the basis of human desires. Which I'm not going to go into more. You need to read the first issue. And they're still reeling from that, and they're still realizing they've got hard decisions to make. Some want to carry on this dark path, and others kind of like freaking out about it. And that's really it, to be honest. And there's another ceremony, but again, I'm keeping it vague because I'm doing Kush's read. It's only going to be 9 issues. It's James Tynion. I think this one is written more by it says written by Margaret Bennett and James Tynion. So I don't know. And sometimes they flip in order. So I don't know if it's Margaret Bennett who's given the storyline and James Tynion's written it, or vice versa. But yeah, it's good. 8 out of 10. Not as good as the first issue, but still good. This, on the other hand, I think is fantastic. Chris Condon, Charlie Adlard on artwork. This is a slow burn of a thriller slash horror. Very noirish, of course, because it's been Chris Condon. I love Chris Condon's creation and stuff. I like his Green Arrow work, but I don't like what he's doing in Marvel. I think they're putting him on the wrong titles. But this is hitting the sweet spot, and the artwork by Charlie Adlard is amazing. I think people are sleeping on this and not giving it a try because the covers, I don't think, are really catching people's attention. And it's a crying shame because I think this is one of the strongest comics that have come out this year. And it gets a solid 9 out of 10 for me. It's a great mystery, and it really develops the storyline as well. This I forgot about, so I picked it up and had it put on my pull list when I saw it on the shelves. Fortunately, there was one left. Blood of the Wolfman by Universal Monsters. I missed the whole Phantom of the Opera one, so I might have to get that. I'm not in any rush, but this was great. Joshua Williamson and Leon Max, who I love as an artist. This is the more balls to the wall kind of horror that they've had for Universal Monsters comic, and I think it works all the better for it. It doesn't feel like as classically themed as some of the other ones, and it puts an interesting spin on the Wolfman mythos, and it's all about family roots as well, and how family will hide things to keep the family secrets safe. And it's great. I'm not turning to the last page because it's a great final page. And yeah, I really enjoyed that. Solid 9 out of 10. Highly recommend picking that up. And then another franchise I've no experience with, Mask. It was a toy series in the 80s, and it had a few comics from DC for a little bit. But what made the pull for me was the writing of Dan Waters and the art of Piper, who did that Image comic with Rob Williams about Petrolheads, which was really good. This was great. I really enjoyed this. And of the Energon series, the ones that I like are the ones that are more like G.I. Joe kind of affiliated. So I like G.I. Joe, I like Mask, and I think that ROM's coming out, so I might get that. But Transformers and Void Rivals, I'll get in book form, but I'm not in any urge to read them. But this, I'm really enjoying. It's great. Dan Waters is having a lot of fun with this. And if anybody can make me read a comic based on an 80s discontinued toy line, it will be Dan Waters. So yeah, this got a really fun introductory issue, and I'm going to give this a solid 8.5 out of 10. And then last two issues now. The first one before the final issue, Stray Dogs, number 24. Oh, sorry, Feral number 24, and of course it has that flip over with Stray Dogs. So this was a great issue. So this is the culmination of them being imprisoned in the laboratory, and there's a great bit where both stories collide. So whichever way it starts, both stories converge, and the Stray Dogs meet up with the Feral Cats. Yeah, this is fun. I adore this comic. So again, another 9 out of 10. And last but by no means least, Battle Beast number 10. This was fun. I don't know how long I will keep on enjoying it though. The art's great, but it's very much more a one-trick pony than, say, Invincible was. I adore Invincible. As I mentioned before, I'm getting the compact collections. Just got to get volume 15 at the moment. But this doesn't feel as fully fleshed out. There's only so many constant fight scenes, seeing who's the strongest that I can take, I think. But for the moment, I'm entertained by it, and it was a fun read, and it's nice to see characters from Invincible appearing in this as well. And yeah, I'll give it a good 7.5 out of 10. So this was, if I compile it with all the issues from the last video, we have that that oh god, that. And also that and that is why I had to do it in 2 parts. So I hope you enjoyed that. There won't be another one for a while. I'll mostly just focus again on just doing like standout issues or new number ones, because this was so time consuming, and I don't like feeling pressured to read comics anymore. I don't think I give my best videos when I do that. But hope you enjoyed that one. There must be another one in another month or so. I'm trying to keep it just monthly now. But I shall see you soon. Hopefully I'll get my comics this weekend. But I do have some graphics coming in as well, which I'll do spotlight videos on, because one of them has got a very big nostalgia for me. It's an 80s Marvel comic that I adored. So I shall see you soon. Bye.